Meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mrs. Cicchini? Here. Mrs. Kupatrinidag is not here. Mrs. Delay? Here. Did I pronounce that correctly? Deli. Deli. Thank you. Ms. Noel Malafite? Here. Mrs. Simons? Simmons. Here. And Mrs. Tortorella? Here. Mrs. Whitty? Here. Mrs. O'Barry is not here. Mr. D'Agostino?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Would you please join me in the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Sussex-Wantage Regional School District Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the school building and notice of said meeting sent to the New Jersey Herald and the Star Ledger.
The Sussex-Wantage Regional School District is a responsive, caring, child-centered community. Our mission is to educate each individual to become a confident, competent, lifelong learner and productive, responsible citizen by providing challenging opportunities in a safe environment through a partnership with families, schools, and communities.
Thank you, Mrs. Woody. At this time, we will move on to the report of the superintendent of schools.
Thank you, Mr. D'Agostino. I'd like to invite Mr. Schwartz up to present this month's Students of the Month.
Good evening, Mr. Ball, Mr. D'Agostino, members of our Board of Education, and members in our audience tonight. It is with great pride that I stand before you tonight to present the Students of the Month. Every month, I have the pleasure of meeting with each of these individuals, and during these meetings, I'm able to gain insight into their hobbies, favorite subjects, and extracurricular activities that they participate in. Each of these students tonight have been highly recommended by their teachers. And as I introduce you to each student, I will provide a brief snapshot of the wonderful accolades that have helped them earn Student of the Month. In 6th grade this month, the recipient is Max Bloomer. When I sat with Max, they told me their favorite classes were reading and writing. In particular, Max enjoys reading and all the places a book can take him. Max would like to become a doctor someday. He would like to pursue the specialty of family medicine. Max is a kind-hearted individual who believes that they can help assist families with their overall mental health and well-being. Max is active inside and outside of school, whether they are participating in band, playing basketball, or simply enjoying the outdoors. Max's teacher stated the following when recommending them for the Student of the Month. Max is empathetic, kind, caring, and willing to help others in need. As a valuable member of class discussions, Max is always working hard to include everyone and make sure they have a voice. Max works to overcome any obstacles that stand in their way, proving tenacity and love of life. Max will continue to be a leader with her peers, and we look forward to seeing all that she does in the future. It is with great pride that I introduce Max as the Sussex Middle School 6th grade Student of the Month. Here. Come on around. Congratulations. Great job. Shake hand and congratulations.
Here you go, Mrs. Shreve. Congratulations.
In 7th grade this month, the recipient is Jack Kaczynski. Jack's teacher stated the following when nominating him. 7th grade team would like to nominate Jack for the Student of the Month. Jack is a very hard worker, conscientious, and a very, very nice young man. He is helpful to all of the students in his classes and works well in all of his groups. Jack has a great sense of humor and is respectful to all of his teachers. We are all excited to see what Jack achieves when he continues his journeys here at Sussex Middle School. When I sat with Jack, he told me that his favorite class was technology. Jack would like to become a software engineer someday, and working with aspects of coding, design, and problem solving with regards to technology is something that he truly enjoys and would love to make a career out of. Here at SMS, Jack is an active member of our NJHS, where he is actively involved in giving back to the community. Outside of school, Jack can be found on the ice, playing hockey, or in the field playing baseball. He has always enjoyed these sports and looks forward to continuing them in high school. We are all excited to see all that Jack will accomplish in the next 2 years. It is with great pride that I introduce Jack as the 7th grade student of the month.
Congratulations, this is for you. Jack.
Great job. In 8th grade this month, the recipient is Tanner Haggerty. When I sat with Tanner, he told me that his favorite class was art. Tanner has always enjoyed the subject area and the hands-on approach that is associated with it. Here at the middle school, Tanner has taken a particular liking to both drawing and sculpting. When asked what career path he might be interested in when he gets older, Tanner indicated that he would like to become a carpenter or a mechanic. Through additional conversation with Tanner, it was clear that he is an active young man who learns best by doing. Depending on the season, Tanner can be found on his dirt bike, fishing, or hunting, and is looking to pursue the shared program with High Point and Sussex Tech next year. Tanner's teacher stated the following: Tanner is a great student, a hard worker who asks for help when needed, and then takes what he is shown and applies it to the problems he's working on. He works well with his peers and is constantly a respectful presence in the classroom. As we say goodbye to Tanner at the end of the year, I can say that his skill set and attitude will continue to lead him to success in high school and beyond. We all look forward to seeing your achievements along the way. It is with great pride that I introduce Tanner as the 8th grade student of the month.
Congratulations. This is for you.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz, and congratulations again to all the recipients. We always encourage everybody to stay for the duration of the board meeting. If you didn't want to stay for the board meeting, now would be the opportune time to leave. No pressure.
Good to see you.
Report out on a couple other items tonight. High Point Regional High School is hosting our district chorus celebration for all the sending districts, so our kids are up there singing, and if you have an opportunity after the board meeting, and it's still going on, I think 7 to maybe 8:30, check it out. Also want to thank High Point Regional High School. It's budget season. We're beginning to think about and plan for our expenditures next year and our vision for curriculum, things like that. We talked a lot about wood shop and greenhouses. So Dr. Ripley, Mr. Campbell, and Brian Drellick hosted us today. Tours myself and Mrs. Demolakis to kind of take a tour of the facilities. Looked at their greenhouse, looked at their wood shop and CAD facilities. So they're doing a great job up there. Give us some ideas for things that we might want to infuse in our curriculum here. That's all I really had for this evening, Mr. D'Agostino.
All right, thank you. At this time, we will move on to audience remarks. Members of the audience are invited to make brief comments about items on this agenda and matters of interest to the district. If you could please come up to the podium if you have a comment, give your name and your residence.
Andrea Sparta, 898 Greenville Road, Wantage, New Jersey. I just have a question in regards to attachment F2. So on there, I'm assuming that it's how do you write it? Monies that we spend to choice schools for students that leave the Wantage district to go to another school. So I was just wondering, I know someone that's on there that moved out of Wantage, and they are now living in the district that they were picked as a choice school. So how does that work as far as, like, I don't know if that's like a yearly thing,
So I
like,
think
how
it's
does
a
that?
threshold deadline, right? Recording.
Are we talking about choice or choice?
Choice, yeah.
Unless they have, there's some exceptions where,
No, but what I'm saying is that there's a student on there that we're paying money to, but they no longer live in Sussex-Wantage district. They've moved to the area that they chose to go to school, so why do we still pay that money? Is there a time where like how does that work?
I think you, I'm guessing you're talking about aid and lieu payments.
Possibly, I don't know all the technical terms.
So that's payments to the parents for providing transportation to either a private school or a choice school that we cannot provide transportation to.
So all those students that are on there, 22 I think or 21, that's all transportation.
That's aid and lieu payments, if that's what you're referencing. You just said F2, there's a lot on F2, so I'm not sure quite what you're referencing.
Page 7, if that helps at all. On the top, and it starts with,
Those are, the majority of those on that list are aid and lieu payments.
so it's for transportation.
Yes, the school attending, that is being attended, as well as the parent have to provide a certification that they provided the transportation for that student.
And that is only for the month of the first?
It is for a partial payment of the year, the final payment will be made at the end of the year. So if they move, they may get a prorated amount.
Okay. I'll just talk to you afterwards.
If you wanna send Mr. Ball
Yeah.
a person in
Name
particular,
names.
Well, I'm not gonna name it publicly, but I
Oh,
will,
yeah.
I will definitely, okay, fair enough, thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Burrow.
Usually that's the next one. I might
Yeah,
be.
hi everyone, try not to do this without getting emotional. My name is Heather Friedman. I have 2 children, in the district, and, I have a 2nd grader and a kindergartner. My son is in 2nd grade and is, falling quite behind in school. The reason why I'm here tonight is to, advocate for him and potentially other kids that are also falling behind. I think we all went through 2 difficult years of COVID, but I think we need to stop using that as our excuse, and we need to get these kids back to where they need to be. And one of the things I've noticed in talking to other parents and also my own children is that the teacher to children ratio is extremely high in our district. I have been told that there are between 20 and 24 kids in certain classes to 1 teacher, and that's concerning. When you look at other districts, those ratios are much less, some as low as 12 or 15 kids to 1 teacher. Especially at the Clifton E. Lawrence School, where these children really need hands-on learning. 1 teacher is not enough. We need more aides in these rooms. And that's just the learning aspect. Again, I wish I knew now what I knew when my son entered kindergarten and those crucial COVID years. There are a lot of behavioral children in those early ages that need to be identified and moved to different classrooms. And so it's making those rooms even more challenging for those teachers to teach. And I will be the first one to tell you, Mr. Gall knows that my son is one of those potential challenging little boys with a ton of energy. And really, at the end of the day, it's not fair to these teachers that there is only 1 of them to 24. I have enough I can do to handle 2 of my own children, let alone think of a teacher handling 24 kids. So that's my first thing. The second thing is my son did fine coming out of kindergarten, going into 1st grade, his reading levels that's when they started to slip. I was never notified of this until the end of last year. I feel that his teacher, whoever else dropped the ball. It's water under the bridge. It's done, and we're where we are now. But he was so far behind. He should have been in pull-out last year. He should have been in summer school. He just started getting pulled out this year, and he is still extremely far behind. So much so that he should probably be retained, but I refuse to allow that to happen for him. So again, I'm not blaming the teachers because they can only teach as much as they can teach, right? If they're dealing with other issues and 24 children. But the other thing is I feel, and this is not to badmouth teachers at all, I respect them in the highest levels, but I feel we need to keep them a little bit more accountable. I'm in sales. If I do not hit my quotas, I may be out of a job. Unfortunately, that isn't how teaching works with the tenure and everything. But there needs to be some kind of consequences when there are children that are in their classroom that are falling that far behind. And again, I don't want to place blame because I think the root of the issue is we need more support. We need more aides in these rooms. One teacher cannot do this all on their own. And the last thing is just the communication, which again, I have been a lot more proactive now knowing the situation. But I'm fearful for all the children that don't have a mom or dad or a someone at home that is advocating for them, like I'm advocating now for my own children. So, you know, I just, you know, the communication has been better now, but I wish it was better in my son's earlier years. And then additionally, I honestly did not have the time to go through this, but I did notice the section 16 regarding the, I would imagine, the Learning Pod program, which my son did take part of. He will be taking part of it again. I highly recommend you pass that in the budget and also add as many of these as you can because these children need this extra support. My husband and I are very fortunate that we can afford tutors to come to our house and help my son, but there's a lot of children that don't have that ability. So the Learning Pod, I think, is crucial, and any other additional support we can get. So I know budgets are always tight, but we need to possibly pay these aides more, pay these, you know, more people to be in these rooms with these children. So thank you for listening. You know, any questions? Please.
Thank you,
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Schmidt. Are there any other audience remarks?
It's me again. I was just wondering if there were any updates on our bus stop. I know there are some new members here. I asked you to watch the October meeting. I'd like to point out, I'm asking only for safety reasons again. Not only for our walk, but also our drive. Like I stated last month, we were almost rear-ended twice. We were almost rear-ended today. Again, when we're parked, there's no place to pull over, even with our hazards on. And again, if we walk, it's over a mile, about a mile and a half on a road that's 50 miles an hour. It's a county road lined with guardrails. There is not even a foot in some locations. Getting more upsetting every time I come up here, honestly. And I don't have the answer to an 11-year-old when I go home. She got small, did they do anything? Just really heartbreaking to see her like come up here and ask in October. And again, I'm not asking for anything that wasn't done before. I'm just asking now that kids live past Mount Sam again to reinstate the old bus stops that our district used to use all the time. And again, it is an excuse from talking to Dutch that the sub won't do it. He says the district can fix it by making this a district run or using small district buses. It just matters if we're going.
Thank you, Mrs. Gunther. Are there any other audience remarks? Seeing none, we will move on to the board secretary certification. Mrs. Stahl, welcome back to the, thanks for coming to the meeting. Welcome back. Board secretary certification, please.
Pursuant to NJAC 6A 23A-16.10C3, I certify that as of December 31st, 2022, no line item account has encumbrances and expenditures which in total exceed the line item appropriation in violation of NJAC 6A 23A-16.10A.
Thank you, Mrs. Riker. At this time, we will move on to the approval of board minutes for December 22nd, 2022, regular and executive session. I'm looking for a motion, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the approval of board minutes? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Chikini?
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafite?
Yeah.
Ms. Deli?
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons? Yes. Mrs. Porterella?
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty?
Yes.
Mrs. Zilberry?
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino?
Yes.
Minutes are approved.
We have no executive session on agenda items, so we will move to the presentation of agenda items.
Under personnel, I'd like to move items 1 through 19.
Looking for a motion on personnel.
Motion.
For a second. Any discussion on personnel? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Zilberry?
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini?
Yes.
Mrs. Deli?
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafite?
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Tortorella?
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty?
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under policy, I'd like to move item number 1, however, I'm pulling from first review CEL number 10. Reason being, there's more information being provided on that case, so we'll be presenting next time.
We're looking for a motion on policy number 1, omitting number. Yeah, policy number 1, omitting number CEL number. Thank you. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion on policy? Roll call.
Mrs. Simmons? Yes. Ms. Wall Malafite?
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini?
Yes.
Mrs. Deli?
Yes.
Mrs. Tortorella?
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty?
Yes.
Mrs. Zilberry?
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under finance, I'd like to move items 1 through 10.
Looking for a motion.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on finance? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Zilberry?
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini?
Yes.
Mrs. Deli?
Members who abstain?
Yes, Tortorella?
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafite?
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Tortorella?
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty?
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Under special services, I'd like to move items 1 through 8.
Looking for a motion.
Motion.
Looking for a second.
Second.
Any discussion, special services? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Deli?
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini?
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafite?
Yeah.
Mrs. Tortorella?
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty?
Yes.
Mrs. Zilberry?
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under curriculum, I'd like to move item number 1.
Looking for a motion.
Motion.
Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Deli?
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafite?
Yeah.
Mrs. Chikini?
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Tortorella?
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty?
Yes.
Mrs. Zilberry? Yes. Mr. D'Agostino?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Referring to the addendum under personnel, I'd like to move items 1 through 11.
Looking for a motion for personnel addendum on the addendum.
Motion.
Thank you. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Zilberry?
Yes.
Mrs. Tortorella?
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini?
Yeah.
Mrs. Deli?
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafite?
Yeah.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty?
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Referring to the addendum under policy, I'd like to move item number 1, just pointing out that, we definitely plan to have a formal recognition ceremony in the spring. It's just this sign was installed, so we want to formally designate that.
All, actually looking for motions.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. For a second,
I'll second.
thank you. Any discussion? All right, roll call please.
Mrs. Whitty,
Yes.
Ms. DeWall Malafite.
Yeah.
Mrs. Bikini. Mrs. Deli,
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Tortorella,
Yes.
Mrs. Zilberry.
Yeah.
Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under finance, I'd like to move item number 1 on the addendum.
Looking for a motion.
I'll make this.
For a second,
Second.
any discussion? Roll call please.
Mrs. Simmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Tortorella,
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini,
Yes.
Mrs. Deli,
Yes.
Ms. DeWall Malafite,
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty,
Yes.
Mrs. Zilberry,
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
On the addendum under special services, I'd like to move item 22.
Looking for a motion.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion on addendum special services? Roll call please.
Mrs. Zilberry,
Yes.
Mrs. Tortorella,
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini,
Yes.
Mrs. Deli,
Yes.
Ms. DeWall Malafite,
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty,
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Referring to the addendum under curriculum, I'd like to move item number 1.
For a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call please.
Mrs. Tortorella, Mrs. Deli,
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini,
Yes.
Ms. DeWall Malafite,
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons,
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty,
Yes.
Mrs. Zilberry,
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
At this time, we will move on to unfinished business. Does anyone on the board have any unfinished business?
Want to get everybody's take on that greenhouse situation we talked about last time. We heard from Frank Petrowski, flower boxes or planters versus greenhouse. Anybody have any thoughts on whether or not putting them in the budget process this year?
Personally, I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think it can play into our STEM classes. We're looking into like possibly doing wood shop type things. So, that would definitely go into our STEM classes. There's a couple of different organizations within the school where, the kids feel as though it can be done also.
The greenhouse percent.
Um,
Was it starting small though, or was it like going full blast?
Yeah, so it would probably be a little bit bigger maybe than that. If you exit out by the solar panels, there's a pad on the side to the right with rails. So that was kind of designated to be the spot for that. So I don't know, 30, 40 feet by 20, 30 feet type thing.
I think she meant like start with planters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But on that note too, is that, the pad was already there. Pad's already there. It's almost as if I kind of say that, we started and never followed through. So just want to pick that ball back up and get it on.
How would that work through the summer with
You have to
students?
have different
Because they have to
groups.
pop in, obviously, that's like the biggest.
Couple of kids,
Growing
a couple of kids have come up with different thoughts on that, to make it like a club in a sense, and the greenhouse would not use the same keys to schools. So, a responsible adult of the group or whatever would have the key, we'll say, to the greenhouse. So it's not, they're not gonna have access to the building.
Yeah, so I think that if you wanted to proceed with it, the challenges that Mr. Petrowski pointed out, you try to plan for. So that might be adding to, a stipend for a summer club for the kids, or expanding on one of the learning pods that we have. Water issues, you might, teach kids about water catch systems and rain catch systems and things like that. So, you build your curriculum around that. you know, it's a little bit more of like a wish list type item as opposed to like you need new HVAC in a building or a new roof in a building. So you can put it in the budget cycle at the onset of it, and as time goes on, depending upon our state aid numbers, you can take a second look at it and see if that, you know, still meets with your expectations, and you prioritize things in the budget, so.
Yeah, I'd like to go forward with it. I think if it's doable in the budget, especially in, you know, in this town, it's, you know, a lot of farming and, I think it could work if it's gonna work anywhere, it's gonna work here, so. Yeah, I would be supportive of it. Anybody else have thoughts?
Would there be a water irrigation system in place?
Okay, so that's like one of the things you have to talk about. I'm not positive on this building where the closest hose spigot is. You know, you can certainly plan around that, or you can, you know, learn about rain catch systems and water storage barrels and things like that, put a drip system in, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Anyone else? Right, just want to, you know, say that I'm glad that you, named that after Mr. Twilliger, obviously, was a legend in our district, and also going forward in the budget, we're gonna be looking into, like a walkway or something, Mr. Gall, if you wanna just.
Yeah,
explain that
so,
real quick.
you know, a little bit about that. It wasn't just me who designated that as the Mr. T driveway. There was a committee put together at the Wantage School and in the district, and they came up with a bunch of different ideas about how to honor Mr. T. You know, I became pretty close with Mr. T. I had a good understanding. You know, he was very vocal about sharing what he thought would be his legacy. You know, as you know, hopefully it wasn't too morbid, but you know, anything from, you know, love the idea of the driveway because that's consistent with what's done around the district. You have Dr. Wilbur Lane at Lawrence, and you have, I think, it's Schumann here. So he'd be very honored and proud of that. You know, at the onset, people discussed the notion of naming Wantage School after him. And if you knew him, he probably wouldn't have, he would appreciate it, but he probably wouldn't have preferred that just because, you know, he was a big believer in the Wantage School's legacy and loved it and went there himself. But anything you want to do from, you know, statues of Mr. T, he would have loved. And he himself, Mr. D'Agostino is referring to, as we, you know, unfortunately lost people at the Wantage School, designed a schematic, rough drawing of he called it Remembrance Walkway in front of the Wantage School. So that's one thing that we hope to accomplish through the budget process because there needs to be an additional sidewalk there anyway, around from the Wantage School roadside to the front of the building. So he, you know, it's kind of I have the picture in my head. Unfortunately, we don't have it anymore. It was kind of a meandering walkway with benches and certain plantings that would recognize all the people who passed on from Wantage School.
Any other unfinished business? All right, seeing none, we will move on to new business. Does anybody have new business?
I've had a cross between old and new. Talking about Mr. T so much and everything and bringing back all the activities that we've had with the, you know, the reading nights and all the other kind of good stuff. The fundraiser that used to be done with the Ford company.
Yes,
Is
so
that
I mean,
strictly him or how did?
no, I mean at the time it was Maggiorino Ford. I can't make any. I'm not following what's going on with Nielsen and the corporate counting that. We had a nice little contact with Mr. Maggiorino at
Right.
the time. Not that there would have been any favoritism, but so we can certainly look into it. I don't know. I don't know at the top of my head if that's something Ford still sponsors. The other thing was, you know, we were fortunate to benefit from it. I want to say definitely 2 times, if not 3 times. So that I would imagine the corporation's also kind of committed to servicing all the schools in their kind of region. So you know, we can look into it. I don't know if I can commit to that.
That just made me think of it with him, you know.
Yeah.
And it was a fun day out because I think that we started to add different other little things with it too. Like the last year or 2 we were able to do.
Yeah. Yep. For anyone who doesn't know, at the time, Maggiorino Ford would send, I want to say 12 to 20 brand new Ford vehicles, variety of, you know, little, you know, compact cars through F-150s, 250s. And for every test drive that we could sign up, they pull in front of the Wantage School, they do a loop up to the township and come back. For every test drive we could commit to, which means, parents brought their families, licensed drivers out to the test drive, no committing to buying, just a test drive. I think we got $10 per person. So generally speaking, every time we did that, we raised about $5,000 for the school. Mr. T pretty much spearheaded that, and then everybody else kind of got around it, started to expand on it. It was a great event. I got a couple pictures in the central office.
And I think the majority of that would go towards playground equipment, right?
Yeah, at the time, you kind of had to designate what you were looking to fundraise for, so we had used it a couple times for playground enhancements.
Any other new business?
Which is why, Mr. D'Agostino, I'm sorry, but also, there was discussion about the potential naming the playground or building the playground around that too, Mr. Teasley. Sorry.
Any other new business from the board? At this time, we will move on to audience remarks. Members of the audience are invited to make brief comments about items on this agenda and matters of interest to the district. Are there any audience remarks?
Would you like to go there?
If you would, yeah.
I will make one remark just on the greenhouse. I think it's a great idea, and I think if we can bring things like that into our district more and getting these kids outside and learning different learning environments. Again, I know my children, my son thrives when he is outside, but when he's in a classroom all day long, he struggles with that. So I think something like a greenhouse and replicate that in other different would be amazing for our district. And to your point, the area we live in is, these kids are used to being outside a lot, so we need to facilitate that into their learning day.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Schmidt.
Just to expand on that, now I'm thinking to connect to Ms. Silveri's comment. Maybe you can start, like Lawrence School and Wantage School always had some degree of planting and garden, stuff like that. You need people's spirit, but maybe we can do boxes down there and then work our way up here. Mr. T, Mr. Coates used to do the whole front of the Wantage School as
I
kind of,
remember that. as a
a
kid.
farm, maybe I would call it. Yeah.
That'd be cool to gradually work your way up to the greenhouse. Yeah. Any other audience remarks? Seeing none, we will go into a brief executive session on non-agenda items. No action will be taken. We will be in there for approximately 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Can I get a resolution, please, Mrs. Dragon?
Whereas pursuant to NJSA 10-4-12B, the Sussex-Wantage Regional Board of Education may exclude the public from that portion of a public meeting at which the board discusses any of the matters described at NJSA 10-4-12B 1 through 9. Now therefore be resolved that the Sussex-Wantage Regional Board of Education shall enter into closed session to discuss personnel and legal matters. Now therefore be further resolved by the Sussex-Wantage Regional Board of Education that pursuant to NJSA 10-4-13B, the time when and the circumstances under which a discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public is when the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
Thank you. I'll look for a motion to enter executive session, please. Looking for a second. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll be about 20 minutes. If you guys are here, we will see you then. If not, thank you for all for coming. back in public session. I would like to look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
For a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Apologize for the longest 20 minutes.